everyone, it's your pal Steve Cole, back for another episode, and this week I kind of posted a request line, and thank you so much for responding. Lots of really cool suggestions, but this particular week, the song that got the most votes was a tune from my very first album. That album was made in 1998, and it was called Stay Awhile, and the song that the most requested song this week was Where the Night Begins, that I played on soprano saxophone. Is a song that Brian Culbertson and I wrote, and I actually think this is the song that got me signed to my first record deal. I remember that Brian and I were working on it, and the head of A&R for Atlantic Records Jazz was in town in Chicago, and we met him for lunch, and I even remember the restaurant. I remember it was called Coco Pazzo. It was a really great Italian restaurant. I don't know if it's still there. Hope it is. Anyway, we sat down and gave him the track to listen to, and and he kind of, his eyes kind of opened wide, and he was like, "Yeah, I think this is it. I think this is really a thing." And shortly after that, they offered me a record deal with Atlantic Records. So I think this song is the one that got me over the edge. This was the tipping point song. Anyway, another thing that people ask me about is to talk about my sound and how I've developed my sound. And obviously there's some technical things that are important to think about when you're thinking about sound in terms of embouchure and voicing. But the one thing that I say to everyone who asks is that the key to a great sound is knowing what kind of sound you intend to make. So, if you don't know what your soprano sound is or what you like, it's going to be a hard task to get a good sound out of the soprano. It's all about intentionality. So, listening to players, listening to a lot of music, and really finding a combination of different textures and timbres and inflections and all kinds of things is so important. So you in your mind have the sound that you want to create. That's the key. And then you could put into practice all of those, technical best practices about saxophone playing. And you can start to maybe mess around with different reeds or try some different mouthpieces, but it's got to start with you knowing what you want to sound like. And that is really hard. It sounds really simple, like, oh, I want to sound like this. You got to really listen, and you got to kind of figure out what it is that you are trying to create on the saxophone. So anyway, just wanted to address that. Thanks a lot for those suggestions about what you'd like to hear about. Anyway, so for this particular song, I'm going to be using my Yamaha 675 soprano. But what I just discovered, because I have an 875 soprano as well that I use primarily for classical playing, and I use a curved gold-plated neck. You can see, for some of you who don't know, on certain saxophones, the neck actually comes off. And some saxophones are one piece. Some soprano saxophones are one piece. This one happens to have interchangeable necks, and I use a curved one for classical playing, just a little bit more comfortable. I think it's a little bit more bold sound, more clear on my 875, but on this 675, I'm using the straight 875 neck, which I think opens this horn up a little bit more. I'm using a Yanagisawa metal mouthpiece, and the tip opening is a 6, and just the stock Yanagisawa ligature. I'm using a Leger reed. This is a 2. Let me see. Hold on a minute. I gotta make sure. No, this is a 3.25. The cool thing about Leger is that they give you like these micro increments, which is really cool. This is a 3.25 Leger synthetic reed. You can tell because it's see-through. And using my AEA Nouveau N8 ribbon microphone, and basically the same chain as normal into a Antelope Audio Zen Go, into Pro Tools with a simple delay and reverb, and that's it. So I really hope you enjoy this, and I appreciate you requesting it. And I'll be doing that pretty regularly, asking you guys what you're interested in hearing about or hearing in terms of songs of mine or anything. Anyway, so hope you like it.